Hey, welcome back, Rise Up Nation. We're here for another episode of Rise Up in Real Estate, and it's the first time I think that we've had a unicorn on the show that I've called a unicorn. I always have to pick the title for this show, and I never know what we're going to talk about. So before it goes podcast, my editor helps me pick the title, but I have to pick the one for today. And I said, let's get to know a unicorn in real estate, because I think that's what describes our guest today. She'll disagree, but we'll talk about it and find out all of that real quickly, how this works. And this is for you too, Donna. We're live today on several social media channels. Hopefully, like even your husband and daughter might hop on. The audience can ask questions. They'll throw some comments up. Like here's one already from our good friend Lisa in Atlanta. She's at a Remax in Atlanta. She's already here listening to her. So happy Cinco de Mayo to you also, Lisa. But we'll just go through the comments, through the conversation for 30 or 45 minutes. And then, or however long it takes, then this live recording will go to my editor and they'll make it into the podcast for next Monday. Like today, the episode is airing that Chris Collins did last week, a coach that's now a realtor in our Somerville office. His episode went on Spotify this morning. I've already listened to it. It sounds great. They make it sound professional, Donna. They take out all the ums and does and hus and not much else. And it just sounds really cool with the intro and all that. So
okay.
That's what we're here for. But Vince, tell me a little bit about the scratch on your nose. Let's go ahead and get the elephant out of the room. And then how was your weekend?
So there's the scratch, Rise Up Nation. To be completely honest, my wife and I aren't exactly sure what happened. I was dead asleep. 2 a.m, Friday night. And I got hit with something. And there's a couple options here. We have a 5-year-old that sleeps between us, and she's a lot. She moves. So it could have been a kick and a toenail. But I'm not a cat guy. But when my son, who's 7, and my daughter is 5, and my wife, they're like, we want a cat. We got a cat like probably a year ago. And this cat's cool. It's fine. She's more like a dog, so it's cool with me. I just don't like the weird, sneaky cats. So the cat sometimes is in our room, and she could have launched off me with the claws and got me, but I woke up bleeding from a dead sleep. And I actually have no idea. And it's huge. And the worst part is that we decided to join a church we've been visiting for a long time. And so when you join a church in the Southeast where we are, you stand up at the end, everybody comes by and shakes your hand and gives you a hug and tells you congrats, welcome to the family. And I'm up there with this huge scratch on my nose, directly dead center. So that's the elephant in the room. Maybe a cat, maybe a child's foot. But I made it, and I'm here.
What I appreciate about that whole story is not once did you blame it on Jenna. I thought that was really good
There's
of you.
a theory that she's just punching me in the face while I'm sleeping. So
the gossip got you. Lisa said the whole show in Spanish. I love it.
Yeah.
Happy Cinco de Mayo for our office in Somerville. Donna, just so you'll know, we have all of our offices. We put them up on the in the conference room. This episode will be live up on the conference room TV, and that's our Somerville office chiming in. Lisa's coming from an office in Atlanta that good friends of ours. But Donna, I appreciate you being here, and I want to be sincere as we start. I'll be sincere the whole time, but really sincere as we start. You're one of my favorite human beings. Like I'll never forget a few years ago, you invited us, Mandy and I, my wife and I, to your Christmas party that you had for your clients. And we stopped by Vince and we walked in the door, beautiful home, decorated to the nines. She lives in now a different home, a very beautiful home, but this was a beautiful home too. Walked in the door, everything's decorated perfectly, people everywhere. And Donna met us at the door and she said, come right over here. And we walked over with her and went into this room where there were piles of gifts, gift bags. And she goes, I want you to take, at that time 3, because we only had 3 kids. I want you to take 3 of these for your kids. I got them a little something for Christmas. And I was like, how in the world? And there were gifts everywhere. There were people everywhere. I like, how in the world does somebody remember that? That was really special to me, Donna. I appreciate that. I want to ask you a few questions as we start, just before we get into the content of what we want to know about you. Where were you born, Donna? I don't think I know that.
Pittsburgh Hospital, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's right. You are a diehard
I am
Steelers fan.
And we're heading to Dublin in whenever they schedule the game, we're going to go watch the Steelers. Devin and Chase and I. Ep's not so much of a fan, but yeah, I'm born and raised in Pittsburgh and happy about it. I just love my hometown. It's got so much to offer. It's got so much. It's like Myrtle Beach kind of. You never heard anybody say, I'm going to Pittsburgh for culture, but there's so much. But I love it here. I mean, I don't like the weather up there. That's one thing.
So you're going to go, is that the NFL full season game, right? They're doing one a week over somewhere else, right? So they're playing this year. You don't know who they're playing?
I think we're playing Chicago, but they were waiting until I guess they were waiting until they got the draft done, so they could schedule the game. So I don't know.
And
also
tell me, you're
a big local South Carolina Gamecock fan too, yeah?
Yep, I am.
A little bit of a Gamecock fan.
Yeah. Well, I adopted the Gamecocks, but I didn't have a choice with the Steelers.
Yeah,
it's just
so tell me, this is interesting because I listened to Pat McAfee. That won't make a lot of people happy, but I love Pat McAfee.
I do. I men's a men's.
Yeah. So what's up with Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I don't know. I don't know if anybody knows except for, and I don't know why. Why do we want him? I mean, if you think about this, the quarterback we got he's very, the kid we got in the draft from Ohio State, Roethlisberger is about his size. Roethlisberger was from Ohio, and Roethlisberger was very underappreciated. So I'm just hoping maybe that'll do, because I don't think this kid has a big head. I'm trying to think of his last name, Will. But anyway, I don't know why we want Rodgers. I really don't. And I don't. We got a lot of Green Bay fans in our office. They probably don't know why we want him either. Those Green Bay quarterbacks, they just don't go away.
I mean, the Green Bay quarterbacks have a tendency to do really good in Green Bay.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it at that. And then
try not to retire.
That's right. That's the same thing that Favre did. He went to the Jets, and then I think he went on to somewhere else, maybe the Vikings. Who knows? Interesting. But I think the kid you got, what's his name, Vince? Do you remember the guy from Ohio? We have to Google that real quick.
It's Will.
Because he is like that's what Pat McAfee talks about. He's the underappreciated quarterback. We'll say it again.
Howard.
Yeah, Will Howard. And big guy. They compare him. You might not know this, but they're comparing him to Roethlisberger when he came.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you be super happy if that's what he turned out to be? Holy cow!
He was actually not drafted till the 6th round. He was the 185th pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I went to ChatGPT and I said, why is he still available in the 6th round? And they said because number one, even though he won the national championship with Ohio State, he didn't have great stats. And secondly, he's 24 years old. I don't care. How old is Rodgers? I mean, is he 40? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So he's half the age of Rodgers, right?
Yeah. We only need him for 10, 15 years. So, yeah.
That's interesting. So, I forgot that about you. And that's exciting. You guys are going to go watch the game. Are you going to spend like a lot of time over there when you go to Dublin, or are you just going to?
We're probably going to, a couple days here and there. Chase and Devin are more world travelers than I am. So, I'll let them, I'll try to contribute, but let them set it up. But we go to a Steeler game. Like Devin's clients have gotten us box seats. The last one we had were great. And the other ones were great too. But we went to see them play Green Bay last year, and I forget who the year before, but it's a lot of fun. We go up there, stay in an Airbnb or across the river. And it's a great town if you haven't been there. Pittsburgh's wonderful. We've got so much. It's like the two rivers meet and form the Ohio, the Allegheny, and the Mount Monongahela, and then up high on the hill is Mount Washington. And Mandy Dunlap can tell you about it too, because I think she's from a real good part of town. I was from a suburb, but so it's a great place to go back to. I love to go back, but it's a nice place to visit.
You know this place that Carrie's talking about. Oakmont.
Oh my God, my dad's from Oakmont.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad was he played golf. And here's a fun fact. My dad, and I've told this to so many people, my dad was the same age as Arnold Palmer. Arnold Palmer was at Latrobe High School. My dad was at Oakmont, and my dad was a scratch golfer. And they played, and of course my dad came in second, but somewhere in all my artifacts, I have that article that says, Arnold Palmer, number 1, number 2 is my dad. And the ironic thing of it is the day that they had the funeral service for Arnold Palmer, it was a great one on TV, was the day my dad passed. And it was kind of, he was 86. So, I'm not saying he was ready to go, but it was, he was something, my dad. But he was a scratch golfer till he moved here, gave his clubs away, and started fishing.
Isn't that something? Holy
yeah.
cow. Vince, you've already, and our guests can already tell, the people that are listening in, Donna's a storyteller. It's one of the things hasn't she already captivated you in 11 minutes? It's like,
yeah,
I want to know more. I got to ask you a few questions because
sure.
No one is second place to Arnold Palmer that I know of other than your dad. Like, I think that's a really cool story. What a neat connection to golf and to the world. But tell me a little bit about, I heard you say the name Chase. And you have one child, right? Devin.
And
who is Chase?
Her boyfriend.
Her boyfriend. Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of Chase before. I'm happy for Devin.
We love him.
You like Chase? Okay, good. Well, we're going to get that out in the open right here on the show.
Yeah.
So, you like him? They've been together for a little while?
Yeah, since Halloween a couple years ago.
Well, good. That's awesome. I tell Mandy all the time, because I know Mandy and Devin have had some pretty cool interactions. Devin how old is Devin? She's your daughter.
She'll be 34. I had her when I was 20. No, that's not true. No, she'll be 34. Yeah.
Yeah, that's neat.
When's her birthday?
In July 9th.
I'm 33. That's why I was asking to see if we're the exact same age. That would have been fun.
Yeah, it was a good 91.
92. So
okay.
So Chase has bought some box seats, I heard. So he's on the.
Oh, no, it wasn't. Well, not that Chase wouldn't have. He probably wouldn't. No, but Devin's clients she works in the Grand Dunes. So her clients 1 year gave us a box. And then last year it was like a corporate box. And
nice.
It was both wonderful times. And, I just love going up there and going to the game and being, I probably get more out of a game when I watch it on TV. But, it's just so much fun to be there in the middle of everything. And they have a huge marching band. The whole thing around the Steeler games is just, I don't think you have to inherit a season ticket, I think, in order to get one. And I only went there a couple of times when I was a kid, but it was a lot colder in that stadium too. This was nice. The last couple of times we stayed in the top seats, they were nice.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. Well, it'll be interesting. Now that I know, I've been trying to find. I think Aaron Rodgers does this every year on purpose. He's a control freak. He likes to be in control, and he's got all of the media has been on pins and needles for, I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks. They've just been waiting for him to make, and they talk to him about it like he's on Pat McAfee every Tuesday, and he's like, it's not my priority. My priority is my family right now and some issues. But everybody he knows what he's gonna do if he's gonna retire, but he's just not telling anybody. So
the front office may want him, but I can tell you, most of the fans could. He's not our style. He's not very humble. He's anyway, and I don't really know what he'd add. I was like, what? Why? I don't get it. But the Rooneys, they've been in the business a lot longer than me, so they're very respected. So there must be a reason. There's something I don't know.
It probably wouldn't be a bad
radio with Miss Dona Lee. This is so good.
I love it. We will get to real estate shortly. This is why we think about changing the name of the show to just Rise Up, because we talk about everything in the world other than real estate. But I think maybe the argument could be made now for Will. Might not be a bad thing to have somebody like Rodgers in the quarterback room to kind of understudy Will Rogers, because he obviously he has had some success in the league, different style certainly than Roethlisberger. I don't know. It's a different kind of player. He's super smart. He's very devoted to. He's in incredible shape. I think he could learn some things, but
that's probably it, Tad. That has to be it.
Yeah. Now that they know who he's going to be understudying, now that the draft happened, maybe. Now Rodgers is like, okay, I can deal with that guy or I can't, and he'll make his choice. Because I think
maybe Aaron Rodgers just gets thrown in for 2-minute drills.
Yeah,
he's got that arm, and you never know.
I mean, just the Browns. The Browns just got Joe Flacco, and they're so excited. And he's not the youngest guy in the world either, right? But
I
they
love Joe Flacco, though. I
he's
don't like the teams he played for, but he's a good guy. I mean, he's got. So I don't know. I just feel like, I mean, every year I try to tell myself, I don't care. I don't care. When I watch a game, I don't care. And I do, and here's my claim to fame this year. I won the Remax football pool for the Super Bowl. And that was, so random, but that was pretty cool. That made me feel good. Thanks for that.
You should.
And since Mandy is in a full-time today, she's in a class all day. She's not listening to the show. She normally does. Let's talk about the Gamecocks for a minute.
Okay.
I wouldn't do this if Mandy was listening because I probably wouldn't be able to come home later. But it seems like they're really on the up and up.
Well, I have to say that over the past couple of months, I've been paying more attention to women's basketball than the men's football. But I like our coach. He's a good guy. His dad was a good guy, and I just feel like he's on the right path. It takes a little while to build it up. Spurrier was a couple years and done. I mean, Devin was there when Spurrier was coaching, and so it was. And she worked in that. She was in sports broadcasting, which is real close to what she's doing now in real estate. But it doesn't hurt. But that was such a great time with Spurrier. But the way he dumped us, I never respected him after. I felt like he did that. And our coach now, he's just a good kid. I say kid because, but and he's bringing I think he's bringing good stuff with him. And but and our team, I don't know if you know this, but for the women's basketball, which I'll switch over. Did you know Dawn Staley gave away her $5.3 million bonus? I mean, people look at her and I don't know what I have a couple of men in my family, not my husband, that are saying, oh, she's overrated. Really? I mean, really? And she does so much for the character of the team too, and the character of the sport. And I feel like she's just she's such a wonderful person. And to do that, I don't care how much money you have. I don't see a lot of people giving up 5.3, maybe Warren Buffett, but he's a really great guy. But, that was really big of her. And she's that way, and she's emotional. And that last game was awful. But, in a way, and I'm just going to say this, I was sad that we lost, but I was happy kind of for Paige Becker because she's pretty awesome too, wish she was on our team and not Connecticut, but anyway, it's, what, having the sports is something too. It's something to relate to people with. Sometimes I have to watch. I stay away from politics and religion. I have passion for both of them, but it's my business. But when it comes to sports, you kind of feel the other side out. And very few people hate you because of your team. So, but Clemson and Carolina.
Outside of Philly, those guys get a little. I have a theory. I'm a big Braves guy. I have a theory on Philadelphia Phillies fans are in like my not great human bracket, but that's not fair to say. It's a sweeping generalization. And I have some great friends, the Davises, who are Phillies fans, and they send me their daughter in her little Phillies shirt, and they're like, how can you not like this? And I'm like, well, when she's burning a trash can downtown one day for a Super Bowl win or a World Series win, why destroy the city when you win? I don't get it.
No, when we won all of the Super Bowls, and of course it's been a little while, hope we get one soon. Everybody was so excited. They closed down everything just for people to be able to go there. And you're just so happy and proud. And I don't get that. I don't get that. They're not the only town to have done that, but that to me doesn't.
Was Devin at Carolina from 2009 to 12?
Yeah.
So it's a good thing he's on the show.
9 to 13. Yeah.
9 to 13. So do you know what stretch that was, Tad? 9 to 13, South Carolina Gamecocks versus the Clemson Tigers. Devin has never lost to the Clemson Tigers at Williams.
That's how she graduated.
While she was enrolled till the last year.
Yeah, the last 2 years have been heart attack games too. And I don't know if this is the case, but for everybody, but kind of for us, even if we're having a great season, that's wonderful. If we're having an okay season like last year when we beat Clemson,
it's a win.
But then we got stomped in our bowl game too, which I didn't like that coach either for Illinois. I didn't think he was very nice. But yeah, I don't know. It gives you something to I don't know. I like them things to look forward to. We usually try to get to a Gamecock game, get to a Steeler game. My husband's a Dallas fan, but we haven't been there yet. I wouldn't mind going there, but so.
That's a whole nother podcast to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Holy cow. I love everything about Ep except for that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I love him in spite of that. I knew it before I married him. It was full disclosure. So
that's good. As long as you didn't bring that out at the altar. That'd be bad. Well, listen, I can't believe that Carrie or somebody hasn't hopped in here with a question or comment about the Gamecocks. I'm giving you all the time in the world, Carrie, to say what you want to say about the Gamecocks because Donna's preaching it.
Was she a Clemson fan?
No, Carrie's our director of opportunity down. It's a he down in Somerville office, and no, he's a huge Gamecock fan. He's
okay.
He's afraid to say something because he doesn't want to get axed by Mandy. But anyway, I was impressed that I think South Carolina just unveiled a statue of Dawn Staley, which she deserves it. I mean, why not, right? I mean, what a turnaround that program has. They're a perennial powerhouse now, and I'm proud of that. Here's Gary. I knew he'd chime in if I begged him to. Let's see. I'm a Gamecock fan my whole life. I have experienced enough heartache to comment. So and then Heidi. There you go, Heidi. Thanks for bailing us out. It's going to be an interesting game this year because I really believe that the Gamecocks have sellers. I don't know if you heard this, but Georgia made a run, and this is a real estate show. We're getting there. Trust me. But now that I know Donna, Georgia made a run at him and made him quite an offer in the NIL, 5.1 or $2 million.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I haven't been staying on top of that because I've been busy in real estate.
You've been busy in real estate. So I was proud of him. I know his brother just got there from West Florence. He's going to be a receiver. What a great story that whole thing is.
Yeah.
I still think that Clemson, Clemson going on after losing that game and getting in the playoffs was kind of miraculous last year. And we'll see because I think Clemson's ranked pretty high. Their defense is great. Their quarterback should be great. They got a lot of money. So it's interesting to see. But Scotty Scheffler played good this weekend too. Holy cow. But we won't talk long about that. Let's talk about real estate, Donna, because I know the
Wait, can I tell you something before that?
You absolutely.
We have that PGA tournament coming here. And at the Dunes Club this week, that's going to be pretty exciting. And my husband happens to be in there with like a shameless plug for Margaritaville. They have a booth there, but they got some good people coming in. I don't remember all the names, but that's pretty righteous for Myrtle Beach to get, that game. So anyway, I mean that tournament.
Tad, you're gonna tell me he works for Margaritaville. I have a huge parrot tattooed on my arm. Big Jimmy Buffett guy. What's the tie with Margaritaville?
It's Margaritaville Vacation Residences, and they're being built on Shore Drive. Yeah, and he's going to be amazing. It's Jimmy Buffett's company.
He's selling those, or is he helping develop? Or
no, he's selling. They haven't. This is probably their first big promotion. They just got their website up, and they have a trailer now. So it's just on the way to off of Lake Arrowhead Road. They're just getting started. So we're pretty excited about it.
I'm gonna have to stop by the booth and meet him. I've never met him.
Yeah. Hey, maybe you can help me get in because I'm trying to figure out how to get in there.
I've got a badge for you. You can use a badge.
Really?
Yeah.
Good to know. I'm glad I brought it up.
Yes. There you go.
This is how this show works. It's just great for everybody. And Vince, you can also Ep has been reaching out to me about wanting to come in for a lunch or something at our office and talk about Margarita Vacation. Yeah. So when you see him, let's line that up. Go ahead and get him in, or we could go see them, or whatever would work best for him. I haven't reached back to him yet, just because it's not really what I do. But speaking of Ep, what a sweetheart of a guy he is. You've trained him well, or he's always been that guy. He is just so genuine. I'll never forget. Probably a year or two ago, he was super. You couldn't tell any different. But then I found out how bad his back was. Like he was really struggling with his back, but you could not. When something hurts me, the whole world knows it. I just can't even hide it. I'm a terrible pain person, but Ep was pretty much needed to be in the hospital, and he was walking around like normal. Isn't that right, Don? Is that the way he is?
Yep. He's. I say this a lot. He's the most positive person I know, and I know a lot of positive people. And we've been together for 39 years, married for 37. Like we're one and done there. We didn't have any priors. That was good. And we met in real estate actually too. We met at we were both working for Randy Wallace at Lightus.
That's so great. Let's talk about that for a minute. Because how long have you been licensed full? I mean, you don't look your age. That's what people don't understand. I know you just heard she had a 34-year-old. She's been married 37 years. She doesn't look her age. How long have you been in real estate?
Since 85. Since way before Vince. Yeah, since 85. I started in Myrtle Beach. I was only out of here for six years when we were in Florida, but for the rest of that, and we worked in North Carolina at Sea Trail quite a bit. We worked in new home sales. So before I came back in 2010, back after the crash and everything, I'd been in new home sales for a long time, and worked a couple of projects up here, in the Myrtle Beach area too, after Sea Trail, but and Ocean Ridge. But and it's a whole different ball game. And then I don't think until 2011, 12, I don't think I ever had a listing. So I just learned how to do that. And now everything that I work with now is pretty much by referral. So that's where I'm getting my listings. And I have some very avid client fans, which is great. But when you come back into the general brokerage world, there's a lot of nooks and crannies that you don't have to deal with. Now, I could probably get up at 8 o'clock if I wanted to, instead of being at the office at 8 or 9, when you're in on-site sales. And, it's just different. But I'll tell you, the people that get into real estate now, the young people, they are learning it on the right path. And especially with our company, I love the training. I wish I had that from the beginning. I didn't get to RE/MAX till 2012, I think it was, and the training was good then, but it wasn't anything like what it is now. And for a while then, this year I haven't done as much because I'm just crazy busy trying to keep up on top of my business and my listings. And by the way, I'm just saying that if you stay in it long enough, like today, I have 3 listings that got offers like within the last 12 hours. And I have to go back to them after this. And it's just, with the listings, it's been so hard. I've been, literally praying, please help them to sell. And I have my own house on the market. But it comes, everything, it just gets to a point. Most of it's price, some of it's price, but it's not all just price. Right. And it's kind of exciting, and you want to help people to get their homes sold, because a lot of them are in different situations, and just this morning, one of my sweet owners, Harriet, she's having a little tough morning. I was on the phone with her earlier. So I'm, she, it's everything's different, like when it comes to every client, every closing gift I give is different. I don't have the same closing gift because I tailor everything for that person, what I might need to do, and what they might need to do, or what they might need. And but here's just a little sideline too. Lately, one of the things I've been doing is painting these garages for people. I'm just saying, why don't they the new builders just go ahead and finish and paint the garage? But they don't. So a lot of my people want it, and that's what I do for a closing gift. It's a pretty righteous one, that if I don't have to pay a referral, or even if I do, it's the one thing they think of when they walk in that garage is, wow, So
you paint a
painter too.
You paint a big like Dona Lee logo on the wall, or no? Just
I didn't think of that. I should do something. You know how people like put their name in the cement? I should go in and put my name on the side or something. No,
like
I didn't think of that.
Like a watermark at the bottom.
On the note of gifts, Miss Dona Lee, do you? So this is something about you that it's always been amazing to me. I met you maybe once or twice a couple of years back, and I had called you for some stuff, and then I get a birthday card in the mail from you, and then I get a Christmas card from you, and now obviously we know each other. And this year I got another birthday card from you. I won't tell people what's in it in case they're on your list and they don't get what I get. But do you think of it and say, when it pops in my head, I do it? Or because I feel like you're such a giver. And where does that come from? Is it just you just enjoy giving that much? Because it's blown my mind that our relationship, we weren't close, and I was getting cards from you, and you had thought of me, and my wife even. So where does that come from?
Well, of course, it comes from home. Like my mom always did a lot for other people that really appreciated it. People in our family that didn't have as much, but I will say this: I mean, I get so much back from it. I really do. It's kind of and on my calendar, I have like a yearly calendar. You just roll it over and over and over. And I put my birthdays on there. I have like, family birthdays, and I don't buy for everybody. If I'm in front of a family member, I'll probably, if I'm at their birthday party, I will. But mostly it's people. That thing about people appreciate how you make them feel, and I really love that. You're only here for a short time. It's good to. I always want my family to be proud. And of course, my husband, he backs a lot of the things that I do or that we do, all of them actually. And he's like, go ahead. So you got to have somebody else that wants to do it too, because some people, don't really see it the same way. But no, it makes me feel good. I know I try to watch out for all the admins' birthdays, the ones that that work with me, and yeah, of course. So, but I tell you one thing too. You can do a lot of things for me, but if you do something for my kid, that makes a difference. And so I have, when she was younger, we got so much. I mean, we got too much. I was telling somebody yesterday, Devin got so many gifts, a couple years. I mean, I made her write a thank you note before she used it, because I said, you can open it, you write a thank you note before you can go to the next gift, because, it's just ridiculous. All these, clients that we had and family and friends, but now she's very good at writing thank you notes, for one thing. But on the other hand, it's when you do something for somebody's kid, and that's what, like when I have a lot of my clients, when they have grandchildren now, some of them have babies, some have grandchildren. And my sister, Terry, up in Pittsburgh, she crochets these little, they're little blankets, but they're, maybe like 3 by 4, and they're just to put over your stroller or whatever. And she does them for me. So, and it's memorable, I like being memorable,
So I want a few things that she just said, like, if nobody wrote down paint in the garage, just tell them you got it from Dona Lee. That is an incredibly bright and memorable closing gift. If anybody steals it, go. I'm sure Donna doesn't care. Just give her all the credit. I'm just kidding. Hey, Alia, I wanted to say hello to Alia and Lisa. I saw your comment there. The market is, I'm proud of you for saying good, but weird, because it is. It's just not what anybody would have expected, not even Brian Buffini. But Donna, that closing gift thing at the garage is amazing. I wanted to drill down a little bit, because Vince asked where this came from. Why are you the way that you are? Is it I noticed you the way you spoke of your dad a few minutes ago, is you have a very special place in your heart for your dad. Tell me where it comes from that you're this type of person, that you're this giving, because you speak of it like it's just normal. But we do this show every week, and we both talk to a lot of people, and it's not just normal. I'm glad it's normal for you. But the world needs more Dona Lee. Tell us how you became this way. And is it something that you kind of nurtured in yourself, or did it come from somewhere?
Well, my parents were both very generous. My parents were, probably, well, they had enough to get by. We weren't like poor or anything, but I always thought we were upper middle class till I went to college and saw these kids that had cars and vacation homes and all that. I'm like, what? Who gets that? But no, my parents are very good role models for that. That my dad used to hate going out with a bunch of couples and having them have to, okay, your drink cost $5.20. This, he's like, let's just, split it up. And then they were always very generous, and always whatever they could do for us, they did. And most of it my dad did, by the way. Devin talks about the love language thing too. And I think I get this from them. When people do stuff for me, that's my big thing. I like it when somebody shows me kindness. It doesn't have to be a gift, my dad would do a lot of things for people, and my goodness, for us, and we had all these houses that needed work. He finally told me, why don't you change your own oil now, because you can afford to do that. Let me take care of the houses. It was kind of cute. But, I get a good feeling from it. I get a good, one of the reasons I'm not retiring is because these are my people, I mean, this is, what do you call it? I was talking to somebody the other day, and most of the people we go out with and do things with are either clients or other real estate agents or something had to do with real estate or family or ones that have become family. So, I mean, it's kind of hard. I don't want to walk away from it because I can still do it for a few more years very well. And also, I feel like it's part of my social being too. I mean, I would feel like I would still go to realtor events even if I wasn't a realtor, which I always will be. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody knows this, but after you reach a certain age and a certain number of years, you don't have to take some of the courses. So, which I think is nuts, because the ones they don't make you take, the ones you probably should take. But anyway, so I get a good return from everything I do. I mean, most people appreciate it, and especially for those children that don't say thank you. I think about that, because most parents will tell their teach their kids to, like my kid has great she's very good manners. And she's been very polite. And, for that, I'm just really grateful. But I got to say that most people appreciate what you do for them. And some people don't know how to say it. But I get a lot back, and that's why I do it. I mean, I do it because I feel like it makes a difference.
Yeah. This is, the Bible says something like it's more blessed to give than to receive. And what you're describing is that feeling. And I feel that when I give too. Like I like getting stuff. Let's be realistic. That's one of my love languages too. If Mandy were on here, she would echo that. But when I can give something to someone that really matters, I can tell you've gotten choked up a couple times on here. And people don't know, if they're not watching, they don't hear it or see it. But you're a very emotional person when you talk about your people, aren't you? And what is it?
I am. I don't mind giving presentations. I could get them, in front of a bunch of people. But when I have to say something personal, it's harder. And I do. I mean, it's not something. I mean, I don't like it, but it doesn't bother other people. But it bothers me. So, I don't want to say I'm always a giver, because I get a lot. I mean, I get a whole lot. I mean, I got that great award a couple years ago. The Realtor of the Year meant so much to me. Just some things, and one of the things that I love about RE/MAX is that it isn't just a big, give me a plaque, give me a statue award. But I got some awards in the past that were, I got some from the admin one year. It was great. I mean, all the admin, they could have given an award to anybody, and I got it. And I was like, that's pretty cool, and just the things that when you own a company, and I only own my own little part here, the things that you do to keep people in your company, it's more, there are a lot of subtle things, a lot of subtle things. And the being known or being appreciated is huge. It's huge for most people.
Yeah.
I hope, Tad, you know what I'm going to say already. I just hope people are listening. And I hope people are going to go and listen to this. Dona Lee has earned, in my opinion, the THEE. She is the Dona Lee, like the Ohio State.
Wow.
In the market we live in. But I hope you're listening, because I hope you're more or less feeling how you're saying things. So we're talking about an overwhelming sense of appreciation when your child is getting gifts from your clients, simply because of how you treat people. You're not retiring because it's that pleasant of an experience. And Tad and I, there's agents out there who closing table check, I'm out. And the people, it's transactional. And you may not even believe that that's a real thing, Dona Lee, because you've never felt that typically, because you're so genuine about what you're doing. So we end up at this point a lot, Tad, in this podcast, where we just end up back at just being a genuine human. she says that little award she got, that was the local association's Realtor of the Year with over 4,000 agents on the queue. And Dona Lee was number 1 in that award. So don't sleep on that award if you're watching. That was a huge deal. But I just hope people realize it's where you're coming from and how you approach your business.
I've only written one thing down since we started, and I used to take a lot of notes. The one thing I wrote, you probably can't even see it. It says award, because it was before you mentioned it. I wanted to bring up that that day when you got that award, and that was Realtor of the Year. It was like, I don't know if it was 23, maybe it was 2023. Realtor of the Year at the end of the year. I think I said to you, and I certainly said to myself, finally, someone who really deserves it is getting it, and not discrediting. Like, I think my wife should have gotten it 10 times already, and she's never gotten it. So it's a big deal. Like, I think it's a huge deal. And when you received it, I was like, man, what a relief that somebody else is paying attention to the things that we see every day. And you deserved it so much. But I know you were humbled by it. I could tell by when you got it, you were like, what?
My family told me they didn't even know they were going to be at that meeting. I always like to have them come to, thanks, Lisa. I always like to have them come to the banquets with me. And, that one, Devin said, Mama, I don't really even know if I can get there today. I mean, I didn't even know she was going to be there. And then later on, when she was out there with people that were coming in to see me get it, and I was like, where is she? I hate it when she's late. She needs to be in, and that's what she was doing. And it was just really cool. I was floored. What made me know it was me is when I saw Carol Franceschi up there from the Keep Carolina, the Carolina Forest Beautification, who, by the way, is an amazing person. She does so much to keep our Carolina Forest looking great. But when I saw her up there, I'm like, oh my God, that's me. Nobody else knows Carol in here except for the choruses, because she works with them sometimes. So, but that was definitely amazing, and something I had wanted for years, and I gave up on, because here's what I am. Of all the things that you talk, I am not the manager. I don't like being. I have never really been the head of any of the committees I'm on. I'm like I like to be a minion. I like to show up when I say I'm going to show up. I will, but I don't want to be the chair, and so I didn't think I had a chance because of getting it, because most of them were people that had been done a lot of that. But that was the gift that kept on giving. I mean, for months I was getting my sorority, my church, everything. It was great. It was really great. It still is.
It was peer. That, just for those of you who listen, we're in coastal South Carolina, by the way, in North Carolina, which I thought was cool that you mentioned Sea Trail, because the Wilmington office is where Vince is today at Remax Essential, and a lot of those peeps sell in that neighborhood, and they have for a long time. So that's really cool. But that award is peer nominated, which I think is cool. It's not the president of CCAR that sits in her office, although I love the CEO. I love Laura. She didn't pick you. It was we picked you, which I love. Like, that makes it so much more valuable, in my opinion.
It does. It does.
In a world
it means a lot. And, I like money as much as the next, well, maybe not as much as the next, but I like money a lot. I like having enough. But recognition really gets me. And that, I said that before. And, I have a niece, my niece, Chrissy, she works up in Pittsburgh. She works for Henny Jewelers, and they are such an awesome company. They've been in business for, I don't know how many years. And the way they treat their people when they do stuff right, it reminds me of our company too. It's just a great culture to have, to when, you're noticed. Sometimes the big things are sales, but sometimes it's other stuff too. And, giving perks or showing appreciation, or heck, not making them work on Sundays up there. I mean, that's huge.
It's a big deal. Yeah. What's the name of that? Spell the name of that company.
It's Henny, Henny Jewelers. They're in Squirrel Hill, I believe. Yeah.
I'm curious. Take me back to like 2010, 11, when you got out of the new home sales and you talk about getting your first listing. I know how you operate now, and I know the referrals are coming in now, but How did you build your book of business then? How did you approach this thing? I'm in a whole new type of market. I'm out here kind of open brokerage, you could say, general brokerage. How did you start?
What's the name of that program, Tab, that we had that, I think we still have it. It's just escaping my mind right now, but we would get leads from it from different offices. They would, do you know what I'm talking about?
Market Leader?
Market Lead, yes. Okay. So I was with, I was at a couple companies before I got to, really wasn't looking to leave. I was at Keller Williams when I came to Remax, and Mandy called me and said, met with me at the old croissants. And I was like, oh, I really wasn't leaving because I didn't like the place, but I went to Remax because I wanted to be there. It was more of that kind of thing. But I was with Market Leader and on the last with Keller, and then I used it, and it just matriculated for me. It was a way to start because you don't have a whole lot of leads that come up from Orlando, Florida to Myrtle Beach. I mean, very few. And the people that I had at Sea Trail, I still kept in touch with a lot of them, but a lot of our clients are still, we've known them for years and years. But that was one way. And I wish I would, if I had to do all over again, I would have refined my database all along. And so I put things into Google Contacts. That's great. When I left Keller and came to Remax, I just kind of kept the Google Contacts thing going, but staying in touch with people, remembering birthdays. Market Leader was so helpful. And then when we came up with Continuity, I love that program. I mean, I buy that all day long. It does a little something for people, every little bit. It's just little touches. And then I get this huge guilt feeling when like this morning, I was thinking about a couple of people that I haven't probably talked to in a couple of years, I've emailed or text or whatever, but they're getting touches from me. But you can't call everybody every day, but I need to have a better program for that. But that was it. I started with Market Leader. I will say Condo Lux, I was with them for a little while, and they had a really good lead system. And some of those people I work with, but just keeping on, being there. You know what? One thing today to me is answering the phone. I answer the phone for agents. Unless it says probably spam or, one of these, there's some other places that I don't like to answer the phone for. But if it's an agent or if it's an 843 number, even if I don't recognize, I like really try to answer the phone, and I can politely cut people off if it's not the phone call I want to get. But no, and you're on the phone sometimes, right? And so you can't answer it right away, but getting right back to people, even if it's just to say, hey, look, I'm in the middle of a meeting. Can I call you back later? Just let them know you're there, and I appreciate that. And I have some agents, which, by the way, I just have to say, the other day, this lady that that I told you about earlier, Harriet, I love her to death. And she was just widowed at Christmas. But Harriet said to me, does everybody do this for their clients? She said, I've never seen a realtor do that. My neighbor across the street said that. And I said, you know what? A lot of them do. A lot of agents do. I said, the good ones, the ones that are lasting, they'll help you pack your stuff up. They'll help you clean it. They'll give you, that's what they do. It isn't just about throwing it in MLS and taking the pictures and then sitting there and waiting for people to show it, putting on a lockbox. I mean, there are so many good agents out there. We have a lot of them in our office, and I'd like to think all of them are in our office. And some of the other ones, I mean, I know I get excited when I see some of like the offers I have today are for some great agents. I'm really excited about that. I love to work with good agents, and I send a thank you note to every agent. It's, I only send it if I thought they were good agent. There are a couple that I hope there aren't some that I didn't get to send that were good agents, but I really try to acknowledge that, I appreciated working with them. And I know we had some issues, or we didn't have issues, or maybe a little something about that particular transaction. But then always, most of them I only write honest thank you notes. And if I say I would like to work with you again, but that makes a difference, I mean, I write them myself. I don't know of too many other people that do that. And one of the agencies, their broker does it. And, that's okay too, I guess.
Yeah, well, depends on what your goal is. I can't help but say this about you, Donna. I didn't know what was gonna be like every time we do this with a different human. There's a prevailing thought that comes to my mind, and there's a direction that we go. And this is what I've been thinking about the whole time you've been talking. And I'm not sure why, but I'm going to say it out loud anyway, because Vince knows that's what I do. Well, you've heard before that you become the 5 people that you hang out with, right? Like the people that you spend the most time with is who you turn into. And I'm trying to figure out how in the world we bottle what Dona Lee is about and tell people how to do it. And you know what? The only way to do it is to find people like her and hang out with them. Because I think when you hang out with Donna, and Donna might not need any more people to hang out with, but you find good people that you spend your time with. Like, I think that you've learned what you've learned because of the people that have taught you along the way, right? And the way you talk is just attractive. Like, it draws you in, and it's so unassuming. It's so who you are. It's so emotionally relevant. Even the fact that you would say, when someone asks, just an example, someone asks an agent, who else does that kind of thing, Donna? For what other agents are doing this? How many agents would say, probably not very many, or leave it to them to think, probably not very many. And what did you do? You defended our industry. You said, a lot of them do. That is huge. Sure. Like, that is something that's just true about your nature. That's why you're a unicorn. Like, and you don't become a unicorn because you say, hey, today I want a horn on my head and I want magical powers. You do it daily by the people that you hang out with, the things that you watch, the things that you experience, the places you put yourself, the way you treat people, all of that. But you can't, there's no formula. Am I right, Vince? And am I hitting the nail on the head with it?
Yeah, no, it's her response to our other agents doing this caught me off guard. My brain went to, not like she is, but her brain went to, yeah, there's great ones out there. And let me show you who made these offers today. These are great agents. And I send those a card. And saying I only write honest cards. I mean, you're not blowing smoke anywhere, right? I have a question that I think I know the answer to. How comfortable are you not taking a listing if things don't feel right with that seller? Are you comfortable with that typically?
This year, I was just, funny, some of these things I've been talking about in the last couple of days. I've had 2 clients, one a buyer agent and one a listing, that I didn't take. Now I don't get a lot of listings, and I don't go after a lot of listings when I'm going up against a whole bunch of other people. Most of mine are my people, and then I really try to do the best, and I have some good support. But I had one. In fact, ironically, one of the listings I had was a listing that was leaving another agent that I really liked, and was talking crap about him. And so I called the other agent up to find out, because one of my clients said, "Oh, they're gonna get a new agent. Why don't you work with them?" And so I called the other agent up, and I told him, I said, tell me a little bit about what went on here. And I did not want that listing at all. They were talking crap about them, and I know how hard they work. There happened to have been a couple of Remax agents too. And I know how hard they were. Even if they weren't Remax, I would have called them. And I was like, no, I don't need that guy. I don't need that. And then I was, Meredith and Christine will laugh when I say this. So I had a buyer maybe a few weeks ago. And she came in, and I spent 3 hours with her I only counted for 1 hour in the little conference room. I spent 3 hours with her, and I kept asking. Meredith says, no, it's okay. We don't have anybody coming in. When I walked to the door with her, after listening to her story and trying to get her to, anyway, she said, well, I'll tell you what, I'll get back to you and let you know after I talk to these other agents. And so when when she walked out the door, I went home and I talked to Epp, and I said, 3 hours? I mean, 1 hour is one thing. 45 minutes is okay. Maybe they're 3 hours and she's not sure she wants to work with me. So I just called. Actually, I called her. She didn't answer. I left a voicemail, and I texted her, and I said, I just left a voicemail, if you want to call me, talk. And anyway, she just texted me back and said, yeah, you're right. We probably aren't I told her I don't think we're a good match. So I've never had anybody I spent 3 hours with that didn't want to work with me. And so I don't know what more I can do. So, but I don't know. In my younger days, I took everything. In my early days in real estate, I would do anything for anybody. And, and I learned the hard way, because when I started in 85, nobody wanted to help you. That's another thing too. People didn't want to help me become better. Like, my broker wanted me to make money, but, he said he was going to help me with marketing, and he sat me down, bought me lunch, and gave me the newspaper and said, call the FSBOs. Okay. That was my training for my first job. But I find that it's so good that people like, well, I'm just going to name Paige Bird for one, but all of them. Stacey Campbell's shared so much with my daughter. I mean, there are so many good agents out there that will share with you. You call them Allie. I call up Allie and ask her stuff all the time. She's my birthday twin, by the way, her and Courtney Bergman. But so here's the thing. I really think it's real important to do all the things we've been talking about. But, when you are in an environment and people are helping you, and know that, like, I'm not jealous of other people who do better than me. I'm happy for people that do really well when they're hard workers. I really begrudge the people that I know, are the one and dones. I really do. And some of the ones that I know that I've worked with, very few that don't do their side and, whatever, are out there saying how cool they are and everything. But for the most part, I'm grateful. And, the biggest thing for me is I love working here. I love where I live. I love what I do most of the time.
Now, would you even imagine that comment? How about that? Thanks, Paige, for being here. We also had a good one.
I can't believe she has the time to be on this.
Listen, speaking of unicorns, Paige is a unicorn.
Absolutely.
I mean, she's a systems unicorn.
If you're listening too, and you don't know these people, but you're in a different market or different part of the country, find the Dona Lees and the Paige Birds. And these humans are going to answer the phone, and they're going to, if you ask for some of their time to learn and be better and grow, they're going to say yes. They just are. That's it. It's impossible for you to say no to someone who's seeking to be better. Find those people in your market. Don't be scared to call the big shots or the CCAR Realtors of the Year, because they're there for a reason, typically, the good ones.
Yeah.
I know we're probably about ready to wrap up, but 100 years ago, and thank you, Lisa. I like that comment.
A thoroughbred unicorn. I like thoroughbred unicorn is better than.
Yeah.
It's like, you're like Secretariat. Did you see that every horse in the Derby was related lineage to Secretariat?
Yes.
Every single one.
Every one. That was amazing.
What a compliment.
That's amazing. Well, that's sharing in a different way, I guess.
Yeah. There's a sports story to wrap.
I was going to say to you that way back when I started in real estate, I only started in because I was in rentals with a certain company that I worked, and then they wouldn't make me manager. They brought in somebody from outside, and I was like, why? And they said, well, we just don't. They literally said, we don't spoon feed anybody. And I'm like, spoon feed? I've been coming in at 6:30 in the morning to check these golfers in because they're playing 36 holes, all this stuff. So anyway, I got my my real estate license just because I was in rentals at the time, and a woman named Nancy Boyd, who was with Leonard Call Taylor, she encouraged me to go into sales. And I'm like, oh, heck no, I'm never working for commission. And I mean, I had like 3 jobs. I was always waiting tables or doing something else. But Karen Panko, who was with Century 21, she was with Swami, God rest his soul. Karen is from Pittsburgh. And I knew that because I'd watched like I forget who it was back then, Floyd Wickman or somebody said, go to the person that's the most successful in your field and ask him out to lunch. And I asked Karen out to lunch. Thank goodness she didn't want to go because I didn't have any money to take her. But she said, let's just get together for coffee. Because, and she's, the minute I got on the phone, I knew she was from Pittsburgh. I knew it because I could tell from her voice. And she was a teacher, which a lot of our good realtors are. And Karen was my hero. And I heard so many people talk stuff about her, but Karen did everything I felt with the right. So she was doing it the right way for the right reasons. And she has since left and moved out of the country, her and Walt. But I always looked up to her because you go into her office and she had to take down plaques to put up new ones. She was the realtor of the month every single month. She just did. I said, what do you do? She said she did the basics over and over. Just stay in touch with people, answer the phone, and just be honest, So she really, really inspired me. So that's, and Paige, yeah, thanks Paige for the shout out. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I just love, like, even the fact that how many people does a client call and say, yeah, I had a terrible realtor, but I want to give my listing to you. I tell people, call that realtor. We got to stick together. Let's talk to each other. And clients, I hope that nobody in the lawyers don't hear me say this and misunderstand it and take it out of context. I tell everyone, normally your realtor is going to be your best friend. Client's going to be your second best friend. We are in it together. And I appreciate the fact that you just defaulted to, let me call that realtor and see what really happened. That's unicorn activity. That's not normal way of thinking. And you just talked about the basics, which I love. But it's just and I appreciate Karen teaching you that. It's just who you are. That's what you do and who you are. And that's what this whole show has told me. And I appreciate you being so many. Here's we'll wrap up with this. So many people think it's about flashy and sexy, trendy things, but it's about being consistent in the basics. Mm-hmm. And one thing you would love Lisa, Donna. She's in Atlanta. You guys should connect. She's a faithful follower of the show and just we had her on here. You should watch her episode. Great human being. But the cool thing is, like RE/MAX right now is getting a lot of attention for being known as the professional agent. And I just kind of wish they would say we're the human being. We're the human being. With all the talk of AI, with all the talk of systems, with all the talk of lawsuits, with all the talk, let's just get back to being a Dona Lee, and a Paige Bird, and all the people that have been on here today, doing human being things with other human beings and the way that humans should do them, right? It's the world where you said a little while ago that we're only here a short time. Let's make it incredible by treating people the way that they want to be treated and doing the things just like you. Donna, I appreciate that. I knew it would be this way. We say this almost all the time, Vince.
We text after and we're like, man, it's gonna be tough to beat that. And I'm right there again.
I felt that way about Chris last week. It's you this week. It was Lisa a couple of weeks ago. It's been great for me. Some people say, why do you do a podcast? I'll tell you why I do it. Because I know more about how to be the right kind of human by taking the time with you today than I did before we got on here. And that's why I do the show. And I hope somebody else picked up on that. Vince, put your stuff on the bottom there. I couldn't appreciate you more, the Dona Lee. You were a gem.
Oh, wait. Make it just the, not that sounds too holy.
You want one E instead of three.
There's only one of you. You own it. You're special.
Listen, they're looking for a new pope. Do you qualify?
Oh, geez. I'm not Catholic.
That's definitely.
And thank you for having me. I enjoyed it. I was going to write notes. I didn't know where to start. And of course, I'm not crazy about my background here, but and I can hear you well enough too. So I know that was a little bit of a glitch in the beginning, but that's why I'm kind of leaning close to the screen. But thank you so much. Bottom line, I love what I'm doing and where I'm doing it and who I'm doing it with.
Well, I hope we all find ourselves in that exact spot. If you don't love what you're doing, you don't love where you're doing it with it and where you are, pick up the phone and call Dona Lee, call me or Vince. We'd love to chat with you because there's a lot of great things going on. Thanks for being here, Donna. Thanks for being here, Vince. Rise Up Nation. We'll see you again next week. Hey, by the way, next week, special episode. Vince doesn't even know. He and I are going to talk industry stuff, just the two of us. You guys come on. Let's talk about some things like why in the world would Rocket Mortgage and Redfin be teaming up? Why in the world does Zillow have this giant app? Well, why is the New York Times reporter in real estate talking nonsense about the settlement in front of the whole world to see? We're going to talk about some of that stuff next week. So you guys come on next week. We're going to be actually in Denver, so we're going to do it early in the morning at 7. But he doesn't know that, 7 or 8.
And you don't know, Tad, you don't know. I have some big intel on the future of real estate and how it affects you. So,
I can't wait. I can't wait. Thanks, Donna. Have a great day. Go get those 3 listing boards out. Vince, have a good one. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Well, hey, that's a wrap, folks. Thank you so much for listening to Rise Up in Real Estate. If you liked hanging out with us today, please find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Rise Up in Real Estate. Also, follow us right now on your favorite podcast host to hear more episodes. We really appreciate you spending some of your time with us. And until next time, let's do each other a favor and all help each other rise up.